how did you get into it? You Chinese medicine, which then led you to the path that you're on now. Like, you weren't always studying Chinese medicine. Like, what were you doing prior to that, and how did you get into the Chinese medicine? And then, come on, tell me.
Okay, I would have said that I was reading people as a small child, but I couldn't have told you what I was doing. I knew from observing adults in particular that there was a lot more going on about them that was being...
Intuition?
Yeah, intuition, essentially. When I lived in London back in the early 80s, I trained initially in something called shiatsu, which is a form of Japanese massage, often referred to as acupuncture without needles. And one of the diagnostic tools we were taught was facial diagnosis, because in traditional Oriental medicine, the senses were used for diagnostic purposes. And I was fascinated by that, but I probed deeper and I found that the Chinese had been using it in business and politics for at least 3,000 years. Like, the documentation goes back that far. And they were using it in terms of reading, as I said, the personality traits, behavior styles, communication patterns, etc. And that was altogether more fascinating to me than just the sort of the clinical diagnostic stuff, as it were. And I got more and more into doing it. And then when I moved to Germany in 1985 to work in Hamburg, I started teaching. So I've actually been teaching it to healthcare professionals for the last 30 odd years. And I brought more and more of the communication aspects into it. And then while I was working as a therapist for about 30 years, a couple of years ago, my body just said enough was enough. And it was time to use the skills I had in a business context rather than working on people's problems.